Hello. This is the sixth edition on News Central TV, and we're broadcasting live from our studio in Abuja. I'm Neota Egbe. Welcome. Our top stories. Former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami and son, remanded in Kuje facility over money laundering charges. Anthony Joshua in stable condition after fatal accident. President Tinubu condoles with boxing star. Russian, Chinese, and Iranian warships converge in South Africa ahead of exercise Mosi 3. We have details in a moment. We'll begin the bulletin with the legal matters. The Federal High Court in Abuja has remanded former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, alongside two others at the Kuje custodial facility. Justice Emeka Wite ordered their remand after they were arraigned on allegations of money laundering involving over 8.7 billion naira. Our correspondent, Joshua Imarai, reports.
It was a dramatic turn of events at the Federal High Court as former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, appeared before a judge in a courtroom he once supervised. Malami was arraigned alongside his son, Abubakar Abdulaziz Malami, and an associate, Hajia Bashir Asabe, on a 16-count charge of alleged money laundering brought by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The defendants pleaded not guilty to all charges. Counsel to the defendant, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Joseph Daudu, made an oral application for bail, telling the court that a former bail application had already been filed and served on the prosecution. Daudu argued that the alleged offences are non-capital and that the defendants are responsible citizens who pose no flight risk. But the prosecution counsel, Ekele Hienacho, opposed the oral application, describing the case as involving serious financial crimes and complex transaction. He told the court that issues such as flight risk and interference with investigation must be proven through affidavit evidence, not oral submission. In his ruling, Justice Emeka Nwite inclined the oral bail request and ordered that the defendants be remanded at the Kuje custodial facility. The court adjourned the matter to January 2nd, 2026 for the hearing of the formal bail application.
Of course, we are pleased with the outcome of the ruling. As we all know, bail is entirely at the discretion of the court, and the court, in its wisdom, feels strongly that in the circumstance, the prosecution should respond. Why not? We are pleased with it.
While Nigerians will be counting down to the new year in their respective homes, the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, as well as two of his associates, will be counting down to the new year in the nation's custodial facility. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Away from that, condolences have continued to pour in from across Nigeria and the global boxing community of former heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua, who was involved in a fatal road accident on Monday at the Makun, Ogun State, after ramming into a stationary truck. The crash claimed the lives of two of his trainers, while Joshua is reported to be stable in the hospital. President Bola Tinubu has sent condolences, joining several boxing figures in mourning the victims of the tragic incident. In a statement released by Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn, the former world champion was confirmed to be stable and has appealed for privacy as he recovers from the shock of the accident. Now, there is concern about which hospital that Joshua is in at the moment. Where exactly is he getting medical attention? And our correspondent Victor Mbadike is at the Duchess Hospital and provides a situation report. Hello, Victor.
Hi.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening, Victor. What's the situation? Can you confirm that Anthony Joshua is in that Duchess Hospital?
Well, confirming that is like finding a needle in a haystack. I mean, there's been so much speculations here and there, whether he is here or not. Since we got in here, it's been quite difficult to gain access into the hospital premises. The moment they found us that we were journalists, they began to become apprehensive from the security point of entry. Of course, I did meet with somebody who said he is the spokesperson of the hospital, and I did ask him directly if AJ was in their premises, but he bluntly told me no, that Anthony Joshua is not in the hospital. I looked around as well to find out if I could get any clue, any glimpses of, in terms of those who are there, the caliber of person seated, but it looks really ordinary. And so some persons did confirm or did say to us that Anthony Joshua is in the VVIP section. And there is a private lift, that ferry, these celebrities and his family and friends to that particular base where he is. So it's not going to be easy to see anyone around in terms of those who had come to visit and what have you. In fact, there are some speculations that Anthony Joshua may have left the country already, but I do not want to believe so, because if he had left, we may begin to get signals by now. So Anthony Joshua might just still be here. Of course, if there is any hospital at all that Anthony Joshua is, it is this hospital that you can see right behind me. So we do not know whether he's still here. But if he's still here, perhaps he may be, leaving tonight to the United Kingdom. So basically, it's really, really tough to get that information. But this is where we expect, or we believe that AJ is. Well, we cannot categorically say 100% that he is here or still here. So it's really, really a difficult situation, if you ask me.
Okay, just before we let you go, Victor, confirm or deny, or just give us an understanding. We understand that some journalists were arrested in the premises or around the premises of the hospital. Is that true? And why were they arrested?
So where we currently, this was not where we were actually trying to shoot from. We're trying to shoot directly, from the front of the hospital where other journalists, were also mounting their cameras. And so while we were just seated in the bus waiting for our time to go shoot, we didn't know, we had no idea that they were no longer there. So by the time I got out to shoot and mount my cameras, I didn't see any of the journalists around. So I began to ask questions, and I was just told that they've all been picked and taken to the station because the officials of the hospital, said that they had no right to be filming their, the organization. So that's why I had to quickly leave that, that surrounding and come to this location to see if I could get a better shot. But clearly, these guys have been taken to the station, I guess, to get, to write a statement. Basically, that's just the situation, guys.
All right, Josh, Victor, just take care of you and ensure that you don't get picked up as well. Well, let's keep tabs on all of this. It's a developing story. AJ is in the hospital. He's reportedly stable. No one's sure which particular hospital. We'll keep you updated as we go along. But let's move on to some other tragic stories. Another tragic story, this time in Gombe State. The Nigerian Union of Journalists has confirmed that 6 staff of NTA Gombe have died in a road crash along the Biliri Kumo Road in Gombe State. The NUJ president, Al-Hassan Yahya, says the victims were returning from a colleague's wedding on Monday when the accident happened. Those killed include senior managers, an editor, a retired manager, a driver, and the head of Star Times operations. 4 other staff were injured and are receiving treatment. The tragedy has left the media community in mourning and raised fresh concerns about road safety nationwide. In Kebbi State, an explosion in Bagudo General Hospital has damaged the staff quarters. However, there are no reports of any injuries. Police, soldiers, and local vigilante quickly sealed up the area while bomb experts checked the site. Officials say all staff have been evacuated before the blast, and the situation is fully under control. Investigations are underway to find out what caused that explosion. In the meantime, the Nigerian army says it has killed over 80 terrorists and rescued 34 kidnapped victims in a series of joint operations across several states between December the 25th and 29th. The troops carried out missions in Borno, Adamawa, Sokoto, Katsina, Niger, Zamfara, Plateau, Delta, Cross River, and the FCT. In Borno, air and ground forces struck ISWAP and Jazz fighters, destroying their supply hubs. The soldiers also pushed back attacks in Niger and Katsina, freeing civilians and recovering stolen livestock. Elsewhere, more rescues were made and suspects, including armed robbers, illegal miners, and sea pirates, were arrested. The Air Force added that precision strikes in Zamfara hit bandit hideouts hard, weakening criminal networks across the region. Now, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors is on the verge of downing tools across the country. The reason? The federal government's failure to implement a previously signed Memorandum of Understanding. According to NARD, despite doctors suspending a 29-day strike on November 29th after the MOU was signed, the government has repeatedly failed to honor their agreement. The ball is now in the government's court. Will they act, or will the healthcare system be ground to a halt? That's a question on the lips of many. But let's get real. Nigeria's healthcare system has been on a roller coaster thanks to recurring strikes by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors since 2015. They've gone on 12 strikes since 2015, the longest one lasting a whopping 63 days in 2021. Now let's go and look at the timeline, the lowdown. 2015, the chaos began. The doctors at the University College Hospital Ibadan went on a 180-day strike, while Lautech medics laid down tools for 5 months. Funding issues and unpaid call duty allowances were the spark. In 2016, a 7-day national strike in June sent a warning signal. Residency training guidelines and salary issues were the problem. In 2017, more budget battles. A 10-day strike in September highlighted unpaid salaries and residency training funding woes. In 2020, COVID-19 brought new challenges. The doctors protested the lack of equipment and hazard pay, striking in June and September. In 2022, things got intense. A record 63-day strike, that's August to October, over massive arrears and death in service insurance. A 10-day April strike was just the start. In 2023, welfare fights continued. July 26 to August 12, the strike demanded a 200% salary hike. In 2025, TIC's 2.0 strike, that was November 1 to the 29th, over unpaid 25 to 35% arrears and Lokoja 5 dismissals. Guess what? Another strike is threatened for December, that's yesterday and today. Will this cycle ever stop? That's a question you might be asking. What do you think? This cycle of strikes, MOU, and broken promises has become all too familiar. The National Association of Resident Doctors, or the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, are demanding change. So will the government listen? I'm now being joined by Dr. Kevin Kwashak Yakubu, second Vice President, Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank
you for having me. Compliment of the season.
We were expecting that you would join us yesterday, either you or the president, but I understand you were part of a meeting in the bid to ensure that the strike doesn't take place. So what was the meeting like? Any updates?
Well, thank you for having me, and good evening to our listeners. Compliment of the season. Yeah, so thank you. I was the one that was supposed to join to you yesterday for some reasons. Like you rightly said, I was in a very crucial meeting to look at some of these issues. But, it's important to mention, to give a context to why even the meeting of yesterday took place in the first place. I was happy when I saw you giving a very comprehensive breakdown, and I'm very happy about it so that people understand where we're coming from and where we're headed to. Recall that 1st of November, we shut down, went on total strike that lasted for 29 days. This strike was called off. We resumed work 1st of December. Within those 29 days in November, series of meetings were held. Consultations took place. We reached out to a lot of stakeholders and all of that. There were conciliatory meetings that was called at the instance of the Minister of Labor, with all the other ministries, Ministry of Health, Accountant General, Budget, and all the people involved, all the stakeholders. Meetings took place. Agreements were reached. MOU was signed. Beautiful agreement. And then we all agreed with this MOU, there were clear and concise timelines. They were very unambiguous, ranging between 1 week to maximum of like 2 months, with just few exceptions that had those 2 months. Most of those MOU were sent out with the agreement within 1 week to at most 4 weeks.
Okay, we'll just pause there for a moment. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we're looking at the timeline. So what happened to the 1 week or 2 week timelines that now we're being forced to consider having to look elsewhere for medical attention? Details in a moment. Welcome back. Let's look at a recap of our stories if you just joined us. Wike's loyalists vow not to support Fubara in 2027. Yes, former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami and son, remanded in Kuje facility over money laundering charges. Boxing star Anthony Joshua in stable condition after fatal accident. Russian, Chinese, and Iranian warships converge in South Africa ahead of exercise Morsi 3. Well, before we went on that break, we had the second vice president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, Dr. Kevin Kwashaki Akubu, in the studio. And before we went on break, you were talking about building a context. How is it that we got to this point? You got to a point where you're talking about there were 1 week timelines, 2 week timelines that were agreed on between the 1st and the 29th of November. So why are we here now?
Yeah. So why are we here is all about trust issue. You know, when you reach an agreement based on understanding, MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, it's only expected of all the parties involved to honor those agreements. You know, unfortunately, it's very unfortunate that where we are as of today, those agreements were never honored by the government. When I mean by the government here, I actually mean the Ministry of Health, who is like our employer, you know, as doctors. Now, I give you a clear example. One of the major issues was the issue of sacking of 5 resident doctors from FTH Lokoja. It was among the 18 demands that we were pressing home, you know, during the TICS 1.0. We agreed with the government. First, even before that agreement, there was a committee that was set up by House of Reps, Committee on Tertiary Health Institutions, which looked at the issue entirely and agreed that these people should be reinstated in the same FTH Lokoja and be paid back all their backlogs of areas. Again, ministry said they were not comfortable with that position. They set up, we agreed, they proposed and we agreed that they were going to set up another committee independent of that, of the House of Reps, to look at this issue. It was chaired by a professor, a board chairman of that hospital. And then they also recommended that these people should be reinstated with all their backlogs of areas paid to them fully. When we came for signing, we agreed that this should be implemented within 2 weeks. Initially, we as NAT agreed that it should be 1 week. Government said, no, 2 weeks is good time enough for them. Today is 4 weeks. We have not seen any of them reinstated. We've not even started talking of payment of their backlog of salaries. So the point here is that government have actually failed from their own point of view, you know, in honoring this agreement.
Okay, so
and these are union leaders. What we heard, you know, and this is now taking me to the question you asked earlier, whether there was an update. Of course, there is an update, all right, because of the meeting we had yesterday. We just found out that government is now, the Ministry of Health is reporting elsewhere in some quarters, in some fora, that they have written letters to these people to be reinstated. But you know the problem? They asked that they should choose to be posted to another different federal institutions, not FTH Lokoja. And the question is why? The agreement was that they are returning back to FTH Lokoja. And the position of NADITEs across the country is that these are union leaders and they only fought because of the welfare of their members, and they must be reinstated back to FTH Lokoja. And that is the position. We're not going back on that.
So if they are reinstated and then posted out, is that a problem?
Definitely there is. What's the rationale for posting them out?
If they reinstate them to FTH Lokoja,
yes,
and then post them out after reinstatement, is that a problem?
Why? It's a problem. It's a problem. So where the whole thing happened, they were working FTH Lokoja. They were not working elsewhere. The problem happened in FTH Lokoja. Problems have been solved. Why are you posting them outside FTH Lokoja?
Dr. Yaku, so now your government has failed. So you now want to fail your patients? Is that what you're saying?
We're not failing our patients. Look, this is not just the issue. We have to understand this very clearly. There were 19 demands, all right? Out of these 19, there were just very few that were actually taken to finalization. Almost all were never taken to finalization.
How many were taken to final?
Probably, in fact, none. I may bold to say that. Because one that I can tell you, I should have said, it has been taken to finalization was issue of excess workload, you know, and then the locum, employment of locum staff and all of that. We agreed again during that signing of MOU that a committee should be set up within 2 months so that they will go around the hospitals and look at whether these chief medical directors have complied with what was written to them. Till today, this is 1 month after the agreement. No one committee has been set up.
Okay.
We had another issue of specialist allowance and the entry point of resident doctors. Prior to now, a doctor who is coming in as a junior registrar enters at Comness 3, step 3, for some no reason. We don't know where the problem actually came from. The Ministry of Health started issuing out waiver for employment to take in our colleagues at level 2, step 2, at Comness 2, step 2. For no reason. We agitated. They said that the head of service will have to write. And we reached out to her. Fantastic. She wrote, advised the Ministry of Health, advised all the people involved that intake should be from Comness 3, step 3. Till today, as I speak to you, Ministry of Health was supposed to transmit this approval to chief medical directors for implementation. That has never been done.
Dr.
The issues I can go over and over.
I understand. And if we do that, then we'll not be able to take
We'll
on any other story.
Yes, definitely.
We want to thank you so much, Dr. Kelvin Kwashak Yakubu, Second Vice President, Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. Now, thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
And we wish you well and speedy
If you don't
resolution.
mind, let me use this opportunity, please, to thank some people who have actually helped in this fight. You know, the DG of the the DG of the DSS has been very, very fantastic. You know, the Minister of Health who has also been helpful. The Minister of Labour has quite been helpful in this matter, and we're most grateful to them. We're open to negotiation, but if nothing is done, definitely this strike is inevitable, and then we're heading for this strike.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Right.
Moving on to other stories. Leadership and vision are key to driving sustainable growth and national progress. Experts say in today's fast-changing world, the ability to inspire, guide, and grow people is more important than ever. Transformational leadership focuses on clear purpose, strong values, and shared goals. It calls for integrity, innovation, and people-first influence. As we approach the end of this year, leaders are urged to align vision with strategy, lead with accountability, and invest in human potentials to create lasting impact. Now, joining me live is Reverend Sam Oye, transformational speaker, author and leadership strategist, and lead pastor of the Transforming Church. Reverend Oye, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be with you. Thank you so much.
So real quick, I mean, we're on the verge of a new year. I mean, today is the 30th. We just have one more day for 2025 to wind out. In practical terms, what really does it look like for leaders navigating today's complex challenges?
We're dealing with some very complex situations, particularly here in Nigeria and globally. It is just what it is around the world, from the Ukraine war to what we have going on in the northern part of Nigeria. All across the world, challenges are just prevailing in different parts of the world, whether they be racial, economical, political, and others. But in moments like this is when transformational leaders really come to the surface. The job of a transformational leader at such a time as this is to demonstrate clear competence and character backed up with consistency. It is very critical that at a moment like this, nations, particularly Nigeria, we want to see leadership that exemplifies character. We want to see consistency. We want to make sure that we see the display of competence in handling situation. Because one of the things that transformational leaders do in moments like this is that, number one, they engage the people. Transformational leaders engage the people because, after all, a leader can get things done without the people.
Reverend, if I may come in here, if I may just interrupt you real quick. Can a politician be a leader? I mean, using the Nigerian context here, we have politicians out there. Do they understand that they are leaders and they need to engage the people?
It's sad to note that we have politicians who are not leaders. They are supposed to be leaders. Unfortunately, when a politician becomes blinded by self, the politician has lost the right to lead. Because once the politician becomes self-engrossed, when a politician becomes more internally focused on self, then the leader, the politician no longer leads, because leadership is the exercise of special influence within a group of people in order to move the people from a place of lesser desirability to a place of greater desirability. What does that simply mean? A leader does not exist without the people. So you can call a man a leader who is taking a stroll without the people. So real leadership is engagement, interaction with the people, is a leading, making policies and making sure that projects are executed for the people. A leader does not generate ideas to execute for the people. A wise leader listens to the people, knows their needs, and he, using the various resources available, helps the people to accomplish their set goals. So yes, we have politicians who are not leaders.
And as the year winds down, you as a pastor, you have your experience and a leadership strategy. One would say, what mindset shift should leaders take on? And when I say leaders here, I'm not just talking about those at the head of a group or head of an organization or head of the country or a state, as the case may be, because I believe personally that everyone is a leader in their own capacity. So what mindset shift should we be looking to take? The year is winding down, 2026 is around the corner.
There are different kinds of mindset. We have growth mindset, we have scarcity mindset, but above it all, we have what is called beneficial mindset, whereby you as an individual transcend your basic personal needs and major personal, concerns, and you begin to look out for what you can do to add value to other people. Trust me, when we begin to look beyond ourselves, trust me, that is when a leader truly begins to make tremendous impact. So as we come towards the end of the year and move towards next year, one of the major things that can change our country at our various level, family level, at the micro level, in your organization, you head a team, you head a group, whatever group you find yourself in, where you provide leadership, local level, county level, you find yourself in senatorial, district, states, and all of that. One of the major mind shift or mindset shift that we need is what we call beneficial mindset, where you go beyond thinking about yourself. Today, we have Facebook because somebody thought beyond himself. Some other persons create platforms for us to be able to do e-commerce. Some other persons were able to create platforms that enables you and I to be able to have this conversation. I'm in a different location. You are in a different location. Some individuals thought beyond themselves, and they were able to come up with solutions, interventions. They were able to come up with products, services that has been able to move society from point A to point B. As we go into the coming year, we all need to start thinking, what can I do to add value to others, to move society from a lesser place of existence to a higher place of existence?
Thank you so much. Reverend Samuel is a transformational speaker, author, leadership strategist, and lead pastor of the Transforming Church. Thank you for coming on with us today.
You're welcome.
We wish you a happy new year ahead.
Wish you the same. God bless you.
All right. 6th edition, we'll be back in a moment. I'll be looking at politics. Don't go away. Well, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has assured Rivers residents that past leadership mistakes will be addressed in 2027. Speaking during a thank you visit to the people of Kana in Bori, Kana local government area, Mr. Wike emphasized that leaders are elected to serve the will of the people, not personal interests. He stated that they will not make the same mistake again at the state level in 2027. Wike also urged the residents to continue to support their leaders, adding that his visit was not political, but a gesture of gratitude for Ghana's support of Mr. President in 2023. He noted that the community's backing during the challenging period has brought development, including good roads and a new University of Environment. Meanwhile, the FCT minister used the occasion of his media chat to break his silence over the defection of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara to the APC. According to him, his approval is not required, but he warns that defection doesn't guarantee victory. Mr. Wike described Fubara's move from the PDP to the APC as a natural thing. To further discuss the dynamics of politics in Rivers State, I'm joined by Engineer Biokpomabo Awara, former African Action Congress governorship candidate, Rivers State. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Awara, the politics in Rivers State is, I mean, it gets everybody's attention. It looks as if it just draws everybody's attention. Now, a few days ago, the minister of the FCT had a media chat, and after that, he's going around local government to local government, and he said a couple of things that have gotten a lot of people thinking, what's going on? That what happened in 2023 cannot repeat itself in 2024. Nobody understands exactly what he means because he's speaking in code. But what do you have to say about all of this?
No, one thing is certain that it is God that gives power. If he can also recall what happened in 2019, you should know that it is only God that gives power. It took the grace of God for him to come back to power. In fact, if it was his power, he wouldn't have returned. It was the help of secondaries and one of our former South governor that gave him power. Talk about what is happening present. He used the central power to get to where he is today. And I know it's the fear that the governor has also come to the central that is bringing up this thing. So when you say you don't want to make mistake, I don't know the mistake that was made. But as you speak, I came back from Port Harcourt today. So I know for sure that if the party should give the governor the ticket, he will win landslide. So I can tell you for free.
So you're saying now, Rivers State that was considered a PDP state is wholly an APC state?
It's APC state because the governor is APC.
So what happens to the former governor who says he's still in PDP, and now he's saying APC and PDP are one as far as Rivers State is concerned?
It is not. APC and Rivers State, PDP are not the same. We have APC chairman in Rivers State. We have PDP chairman in Rivers State. Amongst the local government chairman, we have PDP local government chairman. We have APC local government chairman. So they are not the same. By the time the congresses will be held, it will be clear that the two parties are not the same.
I'm sure you were listening to the conversation we were having earlier about leadership. Who a leader is supposed to be. A leader is supposed to serve the people and lead for the people, not necessarily about his selfish interest. If we're going to look at things from that side, as far as Rivers State is concerned, how would you describe leadership and the people in Rivers State?
You know, Rivers people have always loved their leaders. If you look at the approach of the governor as of today, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. He has shown maturity. He has put Rivers people first before others, before politics. And what Reverend Sam was saying was actually what the governor is doing. Actually, as you speak, what the governor is doing is what Reverend Sam just said. So I think it is all about the people. It's not about my own group. The group, they are just a few number of persons. But the benefit that the governor will bring, because he is what the one, the local, the one in the subnational that we have, that will bring the benefit to us. It's not the central. The central, yes, we'll give it to him that central have appointed some persons. But what is the benefit that has been drawn to Rivers State? So it is who is leading the state that brings value to us, not the appointment at Abuja. So I think they should not eat up the politics. But I came back from Port Harcourt. I'm not in the governor's side. I'm not in the minister's side. But from what I see and hear, I have my people around the 22.
I mean, for the fact that you were a former governorship candidate, you will definitely be one who has people on ground. So tell us what the people are saying as regards Rivers State and the politics there.
Today, if the governor gets the ticket, no other Rivers person can favorably compete with him. It is free and fair. It will not be up to 12 noon the governor will win the person. There's no... I have interest to even contest. As I speak with you, he has not offended Rivers people. And the minister must also be careful, because whatever he says, it draws more sympathy to the governor. So I think he should sometimes keep his words so that they don't even read in what is the next line of actions. If his supporters can be truthful, they will tell you that their numbers have dropped. Okay, imagine when the governor went to Awoda just to commission hospital, the mammal crowd that came, and a road, the mammal crowd that, to the places he has gone, let the governor go there. You see the crowd that will come in, because he has virtually affected putting projects in every area of Rivers State. So I think we need to be careful. But by the next by-election, we truly define the true Rivers politics. And before then, party, APC, party congresses will be held. And as you speak, the ticket will be handed over to the governor for those senatorial districts, for those elective positions. And as you speak, PDP, if you look at what is happening in Ekiti State, they don't have a candidate because there is no national executive to submit. So PDP, that he is the leader of a leader in Rivers State, cannot produce a candidate because there is no national that should have done that.
Recognize them. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Engineer Biopamabo Awara, former African Action Congress governorship candidate, Rivers State. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
We wish you well in Rivers State.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Sir Benjamin Kalu, has dismissed online criticisms of his political ambitions and publicly urged the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, to join the All Progressives Congress, APC. The Right Honorable Kalu made the call during his annual Christmas outreach in Bende in Abia State. The remarks have generated reactions among residents with differing views on party politics and governance.
If I fart, it is governorship. If I change my clothes and wear something, it's governorship. If I say hello to somebody, it is governorship. If I visit anybody, it is governorship. If I'm building structure for the president, it is governorship. I want to ask you, am I not fit enough to run for governorship? Let me go and tell them. Let them pray that I don't come out. If I come out, we will run it and run it well. I want to use this opportunity again publicly to join him to come to our party. If he comes to our party, we will support him. But if they are in another party and they promise president they want to work for president, we are saying fa fa fa.
We want Alex Oti to join APC so that we can get more dividends of democracy from
all world ministries.
That's what we are looking for. Nobody is fighting Alex Oti.
In the meantime, the Abia State Governor Alex Oti has signed a 2026 appropriation bill of 1.016 trillion naira into law just weeks after it was presented to the State House of Assembly. The governor assured that the budget would be implemented faithfully and thanked lawmakers for their swift consideration and passage of the bill. The Speaker, Emmanuel Emerua, commended Governor Oti's achievement, noting that the legislature is proud to support the acceleration of projects in the 2026 fiscal year.
The team who worked very hard to produce the preparation vehicle. Start with to the house. That more tanks go to the house for institutions.
We'll take another moment. I want to return. We'll be looking at stories beyond the continent of, beyond the shores of Nigeria. Do stay with us. Naval forces from Russia, China, and Iran are converging on South Africa ahead of Exercise Morsi 3, a BRICS-linked maritime drill scheduled for early January. On Christmas Eve, 2 vessels of China's People's Liberation Army, Navy, made a port call in Mombasa while en route to South Africa. They include the Type 052DL guided missile destroyer Tangshan and the Type 903A replenishment ship Taihu. A 3rd vessel from the flotilla, the Type 054A guided missile frigate Dapting, is believed to have remained behind to monitor security in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. The planned exercise has drawn renewed attention from Western powers. In April 2023, the United States warned South Africa against providing support to Iranian naval vessels, citing possible sanctions risk, a concern analysts say could resurface during Exercise Morsi 3. In Conakry, reactions emerged the day after Guinea's presidential election, with many praising a peaceful and secure process that positions junta leader Mamadi Doumbouya as president. Partial results are expected today from a race with 9 candidates, Doumbouya the front-runner. The United Nations flagged voter intimidation and urged authorities to ensure freedom from fear or repression. While locals hail a smooth vote, international observers have demanded transparency amid ongoing concerns.
J'aimerais qu'ils pensent aux gens qui sont en prison. C'est le papa des autres, c'est le frère des autres, c'est le grand frère des autres. Et si on veut composer l'union, il faut passer d'abord au pardon. Il n'a qu'à pardonner aux prisonniers. Ça, l'union peut commencer.
L'élection, ça a été bien passé dans la paix et dans la sécurité. Mamadou Doumbouya.
China has launched a fresh show of military force around Taiwan, firing missiles and deploying dozens of fighter jets and Navy vessels in live fire drills for a second day. Beijing says the exercises are aimed at defending national sovereignty, but Taiwan has condemned them as reckless and destabilizing. Senior international correspondent Afia Hagen has more.
China has carried out a second day of large-scale military drills around Taiwan, launching missiles and deploying fighter jets and Navy vessels in what Beijing says is live-fire training. The 2-day exercises, codenamed Justice Mission 2025, are simulating a blockade of Taiwan's key ports and attacks on maritime targets. Taipei has condemned the drills as highly provocative and reckless. On China's Pingtang Island, people witnessed at least 10 rockets launched in quick succession on Tuesday morning, sending shockwaves across the coastline as tourists stopped to film the display. China's People's Liberation Army says the drills north and south of Taiwan are testing sea-air coordination and integrated blockade capabilities. State media reports the exercises focus on cutting off major ports, including Keelung and Kaohsiung. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and has not ruled out the use of force to seize the self-governed island. Beijing says the drills are a response to recent US arms sales to Taiwan and comments from Japan suggesting military action could trigger a response from Tokyo. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has issued his strongest condemnation, accusing China of deliberately undermining regional stability, while stressing Taiwan will not escalate tensions. Taiwan's defense ministry says it detected 130 Chinese aircraft and more than 20 vessels near the island in just 24 hours. Flights were cancelled and shipping routes disrupted. Despite the show of force, many in Taiwan remain defiant, calling the drills political posturing rather than a prelude to war. For News Central, I'm Afia Hagan.
President Trump is pushing to fast-track Phase 2 of the Gaza peace plan, insisting Hamas must disarm quickly or face serious consequences. Trump made the remarks while meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Florida on Monday. He praised Israel for fully complying with the 20-point UN-backed peace plan, even as military operations in Gaza continue. The plan envisions a technocratic government, Hamas disarmament, Israeli withdrawal, and reconstruction of Gaza. Since the ceasefire, at least 414 Palestinians have been reportedly killed. Trump also issued a warning to Iran over nuclear activities, threatening strikes if necessary, while Tehran promises a strong response.
About Hamas, and we talked about disarmament, and they're going to be given a very short period of time to disarm, and we'll see how that works out. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be in charge of that from our side, but if they don't disarm as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay for them. And we don't want that. We're not looking for that. But they have to disarm within a fairly short period of time.
Bangladesh's first female Prime Minister, Khaleda Zia, and longtime rival of Sheikh Hasina, has died at the age of 80. Zia became Bangladesh's first female Prime Minister in 1991, earning praise for promoting women's education and social development. She briefly returned to office in 1996 and served again from 2001 to 2006. Her later years were marked by political strife, including a boycott of the 2014 election and a corruption conviction, though she was released on January 2025 following nationwide protests that ousted Hasina. Zia had planned to run for a third term in February 2026. Nigeria's economy is projected to grow by 4.49% in 2026, up from an estimated 3.89% in 2025, driven by ongoing reforms, stronger private sector investment, and improved macroeconomic stability. That's according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Growth is contingent on consistent fiscal and monetary policies, including full implementation of the 2025-2027 MTEF. Structural reforms are expected to boost capital inflows, revenue, and foreign exchange stability, while easing monetary policy may lower borrowing costs. Higher crude oil output, expanded refining capacity, major projects like the Dangote refinery, and increased fiscal spending should support growth through inflation risk remain. Nigeria's net foreign exchange inflows fell sharply by 54.5% month-on-month in August 2025, dropping to 3.74 billion from 8.22 billion in July, according to the CBN. The decline reflected weaker dollar supplies from autonomous sources alongside rising outflows. Aggregate foreign exchange inflows fell to 7.09 billion from 10.67 billion, while outflows increased to $3.36 billion from $2.46 billion, weakening overall FX liquidity. Flows through the CBN also softened, with inflows declining to $3.04 billion and outflows rising to $1.94 billion, resulting in a reduced net inflow of $1.10 billion for the month. And that's all in the 6th edition for today, and here's a recap of the major stories. We told you that the former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and his son have been remanded in the Kuje facility over money laundering charges. That Anthony Joshua is stable in the hospital after a fatal accident, and President Tinubu has condoled with the boxing star. And finally, we told you that Russian, Chinese, and Iranian warships had converged in South Africa ahead of exercise Morsi 3. Do send us your eyewitness reports. Send it to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes channel 274, AVO TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Neo Taigwe. See you tomorrow.